back to another episode of the Likt podcast. Today, I am here as your host, iluvwheat or Thomas, and I'm here with my co-host, Carmick Moss or Lewis. In case you don't know what this podcast is about, we talk about movies and comics and TV shows and games sometimes,
and
cartoons
and
as well.
Sometimes, and TV
we haven't been talking about cartoons that much.
About everything.
We haven't been talking about cartoons that much. But
the first podcast was on cartoons.
So was the second. No, the second one was. The first one was on superhero TV shows. Okay, superhero TV shows was the first one. Get wrecked. Okay.
Yes, and they are animated cartoons.
Well, most of them weren't, but anyway.
Some of them. You know what? I don't care.
Okay. So just to jump into the news. Okay, you can stop it. Just to get into the news. Did you see that there was another trailer for the movie It?
I know that the trailer is there. I haven't watched it. Looks creepy.
Apparently it's not as scary as the first one.
But I saw the original one. Because I saw the original one probably when I was... Probably when I was 12 maybe. Because my parents were like, hey, let's go watch this. And it was not an enjoyable time and it was terrifying.
Yes. So yeah, that came out. Apparently it's not as scary as the one where he's shaking and all wet and everything. Which is something.
Yeah.
There was another Wonder Woman trailer, which is just apparently still no spoilers and just looks very epic. I don't want to watch it in case there is spoilers and people are lying.
That's good.
Another Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, and I'm not watching it because one of them already spoiled it. But I will tell you now that.
And I didn't see that one. Woo!
Apparently, it's just
I've
a
got
lot
away
of.
from all the spoilers so far.
Apparently, it's just a lot of his college or whatever it is, high school interactions, stuff like that. A lot more of those. So, just spoiling even more of it. And
does he have the teen angst?
And another Thor trailer. Yeah.
I really look forward to that, but I haven't seen that trailer. Is it good?
It's pretty good. I think you should see it for yourself. It's all like, look at me, I'm Thor, and also I'm gonna beat people up because I'm Thor. Yeah. And
does it spoil anything?
No. I mean, it's not Spider-Man.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's good. It is Thor.
But just so you know, a shit ton of trailers. I really just want to tell you guys, hey, that they exist. Go watch them. I have interest for like one of those movies, or I'm interested in Thor, Wonder Woman, and Spider-Man. So that's good. But I'm not. I don't really care about. I don't really care about it. And yeah.
Neither do I. I've seen the original, and that had a kid's arm.
And Wonder Woman probably won't be fantastic. So you know.
I agree. I look forward to seeing it. I don't look forward to it being bad. Which is likely. I still enjoy it though.
Okay, now I really wrote this weird. Okay, hang on. Yeah. So the Gambit director, the guy who was going to direct the Gambit movie before that was just kind of, abandoned in 2016. His name is Doug Liman. He apparently is going to be doing Justice League Dark, and he said that I have no connection to Gambit, and that's why I didn't do that, and I'm doing this because I have connection to this. Because you know what? I don't have connection to a guy who has psychic powers, but I have connection to a guy who's magical and an asshole. So.
Who has magic powers.
And his name is John Constantine. Now, Constantine will be in it. I'm happy about that, because if you remember last week, I said, hey, they should make a Constantine movie. Not the director I would have chosen for that kind of movie, but I mean, hey, he could be great. He could be fantastic.
He could be. Also, I wonder if it's going to be R-rated, because we know how John Constantine likes to curse.
You bastard. You bastard.
Yeah, feckin' bastard.
No, you bloody bastard. He's English. You bloody bastard. Yeah. In Brave and the Bold, or he appears. I think he appears in like Brave and the Bold or some other one, and it's a very cartoony. And he just speaks in a bunch of English, like blimey, pop down the shops for a Bobby, and then someone goes, "What did he say?" And he's like, "He said we should infiltrate the place or something like that." And like it's as if he's speaking a different language.
Said, "Fuck."
It's like he's saying "I am Groot" all the time. Basically, he's just weird English phrases. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, skanky whore. I don't know. But yeah. So, have you ever watched the Hellboy movies? The really good Hellboy movies? The only two Hellboy movies?
I have. Yes, I liked him.
They are
Ron
fantastic.
Perlman is great.
They're great.
I think he said he would come back also if they'd ever renewed that series.
And the funny thing is, they're not. But there is going to be an R-rated reboot for Hellboy.
Oh.
From Neil Marshall. From Neil Marshall. Yeah, he's going to apparently direct it.
Ron Perlman?
No. Do you want to know who's going to be the Hellboy? Yeah. The cop from Stranger Things.
I haven't seen Stranger Things, so this means nothing.
I have, and it means a lot to me because he is very good. He is great. I love him so much in that, and I think he'll be a great.
But does he look like Hellboy?
I mean, Ron Perlman doesn't look a lot like Hellboy, does he? So, in his average everyday life,
he is Hellboy.
But I mean, with the makeup, he's already. I mean, he does have kind of the head, the facial hair looks good enough to be it, and obviously they're going to shave it and style it that way. But yeah, it could be very interesting. I don't think it's going to be as good as those movies, although if it's R-rated, then they can go into the more dark and angry and depressing stuff that Hellboy thing didn't go into. So, there is that.
Do they have a comic book series for that?
Well, it did start off as a comic book series, so yeah.
Who made it? Is it one of the big Image?
I think it probably has to be Image, because I don't think it's either Marvel. If it's either one of them, it's probably Marvel, because they have stuff like that's like Ghost Rider kind of Ghost Rider. Yeah. But I think it's Image I think it's Image or Vertigo, or just like kind of a solo comic base. I would assume Hellboy is probably more popular than the company that it was produced by. But it's good, and the movie was fantastic, and I don't think that this will be as good, but hey, if I'm surprised, it'll be pretty good.
And they had set that up to make a third one, but then they're like, yeah, we're not making a third one.
Well, it underperformed in sales, and then Guillermo del Toro was like, yo, we're definitely not making a third one. It's been so many years, and everyone was like, well, yeah, we kind of knew that. But yeah. Alright.
I like Guillermo del Toro.
The guy said it'll be darker and more gruesome, and it'll be kind of like a horror-ish. It'll be kind of like horror. It'll be the stuff that, not a horror, but like the stuff that's kind of horror and horrific and thriller in a comic,
gory,
that you can't really do. Yeah, they'll be doing it in this, so that's good. Now, for comic people, I'm pretty sure
he's not going to be sitting down beside a kid to eat a cookie.
But so for the people who listen to this who are actual comic book fans, you'll be excited to hear that Captain America's, the way he's in Hydra in the comics now, and all that. There was a teaser that shows that his plan is going to be all coming together, and that he's going to, either destroy America, or like it might turn out to be all fake. Who knows what's going to happen? But his big plan is coming together.
In the comic series.
Yeah, and you kind of see that his plan is coming together, and that sooner or later Captain America will be all like, "Look at me, I'm gonna murder people." So that is happening. If you're excited for that, I guess cool. If you read Captain America or you don't, there's info for you. So, do you have any opinions on the whole?
I don't.
You don't have any opinions?
Because I gave Marvel a chance with some comics, and they just didn't seem that interesting. I do have Infinity Gauntlet, and I do like that. That's an older series. But yeah.
Yeah, the only real stuff I like.
So you know what?
Nowadays for Marvel, the only things I like comic wise are the Spider-Man comics and the Daredevil comics. Pretty much it. And I mean, Daredevil did die.
I haven't seen either then.
But I do like the comics.
No.
He's beaten to death in an alley. Yeah. I think he was fighting with a group of thugs for like 6 days. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, you were saying.
But anyway, that's a pretty good way to go out there. Like, he held out for 6 days.
Does he not have a job?
I mean, at that point, what do you do? Like, if people just keep beating you down, you can't get out of it.
You say, no, hold on, we all have jobs. Hold on.
They're being paid to beat him up.
Resume this at 9.
But it is cool to see, like,
and he's like, yes, but can you beat me up at my job?
It is really cool to see, though, like, because if a DC character dies, it's like Superman saving the world, killing someone as he dies, and then it turns out to be a death coma. And then But with Marvel
So
characters,
he's actually okay.
with Marvel characters, it's just kind of like, oh, he was beaten to death in an alley, you know. Now, I mean, like Wolverine
I'm
was
sure he will
murdered.
come back though.
Yeah, and Wolverine was obviously murdered in a very kind of spectacular way, where he was fighting covered in adamantium, laid out in the sun, and then just kind of and then frozen in adamantium and died in there. But like that's still, it's still not as like.
How do we know
epic,
he's dead? Could he be alive in there?
Well, his regenerative factor was kind of fucked, so probably not.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on.
Because he could be in there, not able to move or make noise, and just be stuck.
Yeah, well, someone did pick him up and take him somewhere, so I think they might be trying to bring him back.
Let's go, Wolverine statue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pet him on the head. There you go. But
Good boy.
So
Run along now. Oh wait, you're a statue. Go on.
Okay, so this is going to be a Deadpool animated series, and it's coming to FXX.
I've never heard of FX.
Or FX, I think maybe is probably what it's properly called. It's the one that's
yeah. Well, they went from FX to Fox.
Yeah. They went from FX to Fox, FXX, and then Fox, FX again. Either way, it's where the show Legion was on. Like it's the show that Legion was on, or it's the channel Legion showed on, and Legion is a fucking good show. It's a very fucking good show. Anyway, but apparently
we'll get into some good shows later.
So Donald Glover is in the the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. Apparently he is. I'm not sure if he's like director or producer or possibly writer, but he apparently has a big role in this making of this Deadpool animated show. And apparently to the point where he could even be Deadpool. I'm not sure, but I mean, there's probably better voice actors to be Deadpool. But either way, he has a big involvement in that.
Yeah, like Ryan Reynolds.
Well, no, but he didn't. I don't even think he did the voice in that movie. But
for Deadpool, Ryan.
It sounded so different. Like than his normal than the voice he was using when he was just talking. Yeah, it sounded very different.
That is him. I would let you know.
Okay, sure, but. Either way, they're better people than Ron Reynolds for the voice actor of Deadpool, and yeah. But so I'm excited for that because Donald Glover made one of my favorite shows, Atlanta, and he's a very good just writer. He wrote a lot on Community and that show, and so I'm excited for that. Are you excited for a Deadpool animated series?
I don't know. I know nothing about it. The movies are good, but.
Well, the one movie that's out is good so far. The one movie, but yeah.
How is it going to be animated? 2D, 3D.
Probably 2D. Definitely 2D. No way it's 3D. No way it's 3D. I mean, the Deadpool movie was basically a 3D animation the entire time. It's just so weirdly fake and rubbery, but he's a cartoony character, so you can forgive it, I guess. And also the budget they had wasn't that much. But anyway, moving onwards. How much time? Okay, so there's a comic series coming out called Nightwing: The New Order. It's coming out August 23rd, 2017, and the reason it's a big deal is because it's being called, by the other people, Nightwing kills the DC universe. So it is being pitched as though Nightwing becomes like a weird dictator and just kills everyone in the DC universe in order to save everyone. And you see Superman looking at him and talking to him and be like, "Dick, what have you done?" And then he goes, "What I had to save the world." And
so it's
all the
Injustice,
DC characters are
but
dead.
with Nightwing.
Yeah, I guess, but
it's
Nightwing. It appears that no one's going to be on his side, so it's going to be more like Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, but with Nightwing. So there is that, and that seems like. I mean, it's going to be...
Nightwing kills the Marvel universe.
It's going to be, interesting seeing him fight the Bat family, because, hey. Yeah. I mean, like, most of them he can take out. With Oracle, he just kind of...
What about Damian Wayne, though?
Well, with Oracle, he can just push her over. She's in a wheelchair. Damian Wayne is not nearly as, like... my chair.
I'm on the ground. My legs don't work.
My legs don't work no more. Unless it's New 52 version of her. I was
shot through the spine.
But and also Damian Wayne is not
shot
even
through the spine,
close.
But now you're okay.
But now you're okay,
really?
darling. Yeah, Damian Wayne is nowhere close to Nightwing at all.
You can walk again, yeah.
Because like in that animated movie, they're trying to make Damian Wayne all cool and edgy, but he's not even close. like at all. But
Yet.
anyway, well, yeah, he is a kid.
When he's a big boy, he might. When he's a preteen,
but anyway,
he's like 11 and 12. He's only like 9.
Yeah. So you know the person who plays Clark Kent's mom in the movies of Superman and Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is surprisingly attractive in real life, by the way. But also, she was interviewed.
Kind of old.
But in real life, she's not that old at all. It's really weird. She's like Theresa May, the person who plays Aunt May, I think. Or unless I'm thinking of the wrong person, who's Theresa May? Anyway,
I do like Aunt May.
But yeah. So she was interviewed. She was asked by a fan, kind of in an interview, and the fan was like, "So, can you tell us any spoilers about, Justice League, and will it be better than Avengers?" And she said no and no.
Yeah.
So now, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, maybe she was saying no and no just to the spoilers," but it really, it seems as though she's saying, "Hey, no, I'm not telling you any spoilers, and also it's not going to be as good as Avengers." Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So she's like, so it's not. I don't think it's a good thing that you probably don't want someone from the movie being like, "Hey, this movie isn't as good as this other movie," but or its direct competitor, I guess. But then again, I mean, like it's not going to make the same impact as Avengers had because Avengers was the first kind of movie to do that, bring them all together. So. Yeah. And I mean, for all we know, it could be, but and also it's just her opinion. Actors have been known to be all like, "Yeah, this movie's great," or "This movie's bad," and the movie turns out to be great. Like, did you know Dave Bautista, the guy who plays Drax? He originally hated the Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He really didn't like it.
Did he?
Yeah, he didn't like the script
Why?
at all. I don't know, he just didn't like it. He thought it was shit.
No, because he was good in that.
Maybe he didn't like the fact that he had to be so mean. Who knows?
I thought he was funny.
Yeah, he didn't like the script at all, apparently. But and obviously, the famous Henry Cavill really thought that Batman vs Superman was going to be great, and he was sad when he heard that it was bad. But or people didn't like it, So opinions are whatever, and we'll just have to wait for the movie to come out. But it's not good if an actor on the movie is like, "Hey, this movie isn't going to be good," or at least as good as another movie. It doesn't mean it's going to be bad, but yeah.
Yeah. She's going to get so much backlash.
Yeah, probably. Or at least Warner Brothers would be like, "Give her the backhand." Oh, and she was also asked.
They might reduce her salary or something.
But
or
they've already paid her for that. They've already paid her for that movie, and maybe she dies in that movie. Who knows? But yeah. And she was also asked, "Is it awkward to play Henry Cavill's mom since he's so hot?" And she said, "Yeah." So, and I can agree.
She's like, I hold myself back
all the time. Whoa.
I'm sure you do. You're like, I wish I was his mom.
I wish I was.
Or Lois Lane.
But yeah.
Down none.
So Gotham was renewed for a 4th season, and iZombie was also renewed for a 4th season. I'm happy about iZombie getting renewed for the 4th season. That does mean, however, that The Cure doesn't work this season, obviously, I guess. Or, if it does, I mean, it can't, because then Liv's not the, I don't know, it's weird. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, so that means that, The Cure doesn't end the season. But also, I'm excited for that, because it's a good show. And even though the new season took a weird turn, I still really enjoy it so far. And it's actually really good.
I haven't seen any of it yet.
It pulls a lot of good twists. It's I don't know if it's better overall, but it really does, and it captivates me. And with Gotham, I've rewatched some Gotham, and I don't love it as much as I did when I first watched it. But I mean, hey, season 4, I guess that's good. Good.
I do like Gotham. I haven't watched it in a while. Because I don't know where to watch it because of Putlock.
I've sent you the website so many times, but anyway, did you know that The Rock?
Broken off. I can't hear
you. Can you not hear me?
Oh, there you go. You're back.
Yeah. So did you know that The Rock wants to become president or something?
Well, with Donald Trump being able to do it, I'm sure anyone can do it at this point.
I think he made that joke, but also, Donald Trump and Hillary during their campaign both went to him and said, "Hey, would you endorse one of us? Whichever one of us you prefer, endorse that person." And he said no because he doesn't want to sway a bunch of people because he has a huge following and a lot of people respect him. So if he came out and made his views and beliefs public, they would be like, "Yeah, let's all side with The Rock," you know. And that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
And he was just saying like, yeah, he could definitely become
that was good of him to do. Totally
No.
cool. Instead of being Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he's Dwayne the President Johnson.
Dwayne the President Rock Johnson. Yeah.
Dwayne The Rock President Johnson.
I can imagine, like, I don't know, some weird. What's a weird joke? He's the rock that holds the White House together, or something. I don't know, but
yeah,
he knows what what Donald Trump's cooking. Bullshit. I don't know. Some weird. But yeah, that seems okay. But I think what I mean, I'm not American, so I don't have to. So well, I kind of do. I can suffer.
If he becomes president.
So, well,
if he becomes president,
you go.
If he becomes president, he can't do much acting.
Yeah. And how's he going to be in? How's he going to be in DC's Justice Shazam and all that? So.
Exactly.
Oh my god! I just thought, what if Justice League Dark is they bring in Shazam and Black Adam? Oh my god. Anyway, sorry, off track. But
wow.
Well, because the thing is. I'm not American and I don't really have to suffer the immediate actions of what happens but you know I do have to suffer, I guess, nukes. But I think the best thing to happen in 2020, or you know when the election finishes, is like Michelle Obama to be the first woman president. I think that'd be good. I don't know, whatever. It's just my opinion.
Definitely be better than Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, or at least and like she'd be a better woman president. And I know people are kind of like out in the Obamas, but I mean, hey, come on now. They're pretty good. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway,
yeah, they did try to give free healthcare to everyone, but everyone was like, no, we don't want that.
They also didn't keep all their promises. But I mean, like when you're making these promises, you don't know if you can keep them because you don't know. Like he was like, I'm going to pull all our troops back, but then he realized they can't because the government literally just won't let him, and they will out him or something like that. So yeah. Anyway,
they will end him.
So. Anya Taylor-Joy and Maisie Williams are going to be in the New Mutants movie.
Oh, I like Maisie Williams.
Well, Anya Taylor-Joy is the female lead in Split.
Oh my god, they're both attractive.
She is like Anya Taylor-Joy is so Jesus Christ. She's 21 by the way.
I don't. I'm close enough to her age.
So Anya Taylor-Joy apparently is
also Maisie Williams is close to my age, and I find her attractive.
So Anya Taylor-Joy is going to play Magic, the character Magic with a K, and Maisie Williams is
I've never heard of this.
And Maisie Williams is most likely going to be Wolfsbane. So
cool.
I don't know who either of them are. Yeah, both random people I do not know about, but I mean that's good. I guess they're pretty good actresses.
Wait, isn't this a Marvel movie?
No, it's Fox.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Fox movie.
Well,
okay, so
Mutants.
then Sophie Turner. Yes, so Sophie Turner, who's in X-Men and is in Game of Thrones, and then her Game of Thrones sister Maisie Williams is also coming into it now as a different mutant
and another abuse victim.
I wonder if
Split.
What are you talking about?
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes.
Split, another abuse victim.
I loved the movie Split.
It was not as good as you think it is, but it's pretty good.
She was very attractive to look at throughout that movie.
Okay. So you know Defenders?
Moving on.
Defenders.
I saw the trailer for it. I saw the first trailer for it the other day.
Ah, that's good. Did you see that there was some promotional material where what's her name? Jessica Jones was like, "Look at me, I'm sitting outside of Pop's barbershop and I'm drinking a thing." And then you see Luke Cage outside of Josie's bar from Daredevil's thing in Hell's Kitchen, and he's just standing there doing a pose because he's Luke Cage. Did you see any of that? It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
No.
But also, it's confirmed that Sigourney Weaver is going to be the villain for the Defenders.
Yes, I know. I've known for a while.
Yeah, it's pretty
I do
good.
like Sigourney Weaver.
Well, it was rumored for a long time, but now it's confirmed, and I enjoy the fact that she is. I don't know what else she's in other than like Aliens and Ghostbusters, I think. Yeah,
Mm.
but she's good, so I'm excited for that. Also,
I think this stream has been, or this recording has been lagging, which is why we're interrupting each other. I think that's because I just realised I'm still installing a big game at the moment, so I've stopped that.
well, maybe the internet's slowing down, but either way, so Judge Dredd Mega City 1 is apparently going to get a TV show. So it's going to be a TV show. So it's going to be a Judge Dredd TV show. What do you think about Judge Dredd TV show?
I haven't seen any of the movies, and from what I've heard, the Sylvester Stallone one isn't a good one.
The second
From
one
you,
is great, though.
from you and some others, and so I haven't seen any of them.
The first one's good because of how shit it is. It's so stupid,
Yeah.
but it's fun to watch. And then the second one is actually a great film, and I really wish it hadn't made. It made apparently not as much money as it should have. Well, definitely not as much as it should have, because it should have made billions. But it's a really good movie, and I enjoyed it. And the comics are pretty good, and I just think the TV show could be a good thing, because Judge Dredd is kind of a thing you should like make it as a long form story that is told, rather than just like a movie that is condensed.
Yeah. Well, I don't, because I haven't seen them, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, Henry Cavill appeared in front of a wax sculpture of himself, and then in front of a wax sculpture of all the different Justice League members, and then Green Lantern. So everyone's like, hey, Green Lantern's going to be in the Justice League movie.
No.
So, well,
Maybe as a cameo at the very end.
so he comes back, he's like, I was trying to defend this sector, what? Fucking aliens? Like,
Yeah.
well, it wouldn't surprise me, because they really jumped the gun. Was it just Zack Snyder? He really jumped the gun with just having
James
that.
Gunn.
What's his name? Zack Snyder was all like, look at me. He jumped the gun where he was like, here's Death of Superman, and then there's the Dark Knight, and also Wonder Woman's in this movie, and here we're setting up event. Like we're setting up the DC Avengers. We're setting up we're setting up Wonder Woman to be in this. We're also killing Superman and trying to be a secondary an intro to Batman and a second movie to Superman. We're trying to do
And
so
then
many
bringing
things.
Superman back in the very next movie.
I know, yeah.
It's like he won't have even been gone.
I know. It's you could have just not killed him
Exactly.
and saved it for a different film, but yeah.
Mm.
But anyway, yeah. So do you if he is in it? No. People will be confused. Like if you're a mainstream person and you don't understand who Green Lantern is, you'll be like, Kryptonite's green. He's green. Does he kill Superman? Like you'll be very confused
Oh my
probably
God.
if you're an idiot. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just.
So,
Or not
wait,
even an idiot.
in
Like
his...
I wouldn't blame you, because there was a
Yeah.
point where Green Lantern could create kryptonite from his ring. So like it's not
It's
even
like, is his ring green because it's made of kryptonite?
exactly.
No one
People
knows.
will be confused, and also it's enough to bring a fucking person back to life, and then you're also going to introduce this other space guy who's also a human. I don't know, whatever. Don't do
And
it.
he's Ryan Reynolds. He's also Deadpool.
They don't even know who's going to be the cast. They don't even know who they're going to cast for Hal Jordan in the movie that's coming out in like 2020 or something, 2024.
Ryan Reynolds would have been a good choice because
I don't think so.
He is he's everything.
He's not. I don't think he would have been a good. He's not boyishly charming like Hal Jordan is.
Are you sure? Because
No, he's just kind of weird.
Deadpool was pretty good.
Yeah, but he wasn't boyishly charming. He was angry all the time. He was angry or joking. Those are the two modes he had in that film.
Teen angsty.
Or he was making fun of people, being dumb or being angry, and those were the three different things he did. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know, he just wasn't. He wasn't a very. He was only endearing because
I
you
think
find
he was
him.
adorable.
You only find him endearing because he's kind of funny. But like, I don't know. I don't think he's a good Hal Jordan. That movie is garbage.
Who do you think should be Hal Jordan? Henry Cavill? He's pretty good.
He's a pretty well. He's not really.
Now he might be taken.
Is he
with
boyishly
a few other
charming
roles.
though? I don't think he is.
I don't know.
He's
but
super
he's
fucking mopey, is all I've seen
Robert-
in those movies.
Robert Downey Jr. Hmm?
No, definitely not.
Chris Evans.
Maybe you could. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if he wasn't in Captain America, you could actually get him as a good Hal Jordan.
Actually, Jeremy Reiner is his name. The guy who plays Hawkeye.
Yeah, actually, no, he would. He would actually, yes.
Yes,
he is.
He looks like him.
He is the perfect casting for Hal Jordan. I hope he gets killed in the next movie, so he gets to be.
He probably will be, to be honest.
Well, because it's in 2024, so like you've got quite a long time to cast him, and if it is, oh my god, that actually would be pretty good because he can pull off the quips while being a very serious. That is actually very good. Okay, but yeah, don't put him in the Justice League movie, but yeah, I don't know.
Exactly.
How long has it been going
he'll be
for?
busy being a Hawkeye at that moment.
How long has
He'll
it
have
been
to come in with his bow and arrow. He's like, hold on, I don't have my suit yet.
Or he makes one out of green. I mean, they could make a fun reference where he makes a green bow and arrow in like the movie. If it is, that'd be pretty good. But yeah. All right. So, and apparently in it was a rumor. Jesus, it was the dead rumor for a while that in Deadpool 2 there was going to be some. What's the word? Oh yeah, there were going to be some mutants, like X-Force mutants, or like maybe the X-Force team would come together, kind of thing.
What about X-23? Do you think she'll show up in it?
Well, I was talking about Deadpool 2.
Yes, I know, but do you think she'll show up in that?
No, I hope she doesn't.
Funny if she did. She just goes around screaming Delilah.
And he's Delilah.
He tells her to shut the fuck up, and she's like, "No, Delilah."
And then she punches him, and he's like, "Oh."
It's like, God damn it, little girl, I'm leaving.
But yeah, apparently
you killed my friend.
Apparently, there are definitely not going to be any X-Force members in Deadpool 2.
And who was in? Who are part of the X-Force?
So Dominique, what's Domino? Yeah, there you go. She's the one whose skin is all white, and she's like her whole thing is like luck, and she might have a thing with Deadpool.
Okay.
Psylocke, you know, the one who's in X-Force, X-Men Apocalypse. Yeah, she's not. She is part of the X-Force. Probably not going to be in it. It's kind of a group that I think Deadpool only got in because he is banging one of them, or maybe just got in because he's immortal, probably. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I can't really remember any other people that are in the X-Force. But yeah, either way, there's no mutants from that, which does sadden me, unless they just mean that X-Force isn't going to be a thing in it, because I really want Domino. She's great. I don't know.
I don't know, but okay.
Well, she's just a good love interest for him. Although then again, so is Lady Death, and that actually would be pretty good. But he's dating. And
so is his girlfriend in it.
He is dating that chick, and she's the one who can like swap people's powers around, or no, take people's powers in the comics. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah. So that's not gonna happen, I guess. But that's all the news we have. That went for a bit too long, I think.
Yeah, very long.
Although then again, you were interrupted a couple of times by that thing, so that which we're not going to mention. However, so the special thing we're going to do this episode, and probably every 5 episodes, I'd say, unless we decide to do something else, that episode,
or the movie's like pulled up and it's like, oh, the movie's out in 2 weeks, we have to speed out all these reviews.
Yeah, or like, if there's like, so what we're gonna do, I think, every 5 episodes is we're gonna review 2 Harry Potter films, review in quotes. We're gonna talk about them and just give our opinions on them and what they kind of meant for this stuff at the time and blah blah blah. And if there's a review for a film that we have to do, like for example in episode 10, if there's like a review we need to do, we'll probably like for a different film like Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I don't know. Or just
I doubt in 5 weeks I'll have. but they could, but it would be a little bit rushed,
Yeah. But yeah, whatever. Whatever. Like Wonder Woman or something like that. We'll probably, whatever. Yeah. So, but regardless of that, so we're going to talk about the first 2 Harry Potter films. Do you want to? Actually, no, you don't. You shouldn't be the one to lead into this. I should.
No.
I'll summarize the first one. You can summarize the second one. I'll summarize the first and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Yeah. So, Harry Potter 1 scene. So it opens with this little
Philosopher's Stone.
Philosopher or Sorcerer's Stone if you were American, and apparently you can't understand what the word philosopher means, even though the book was a hit, and you would probably know that the book exists and you would go see the film regardless. But
I think it's because the Philosopher's Stone was. No, I think it's just they don't understand what that
they
is.
thought
Which
that
makes sense.
They thought
Yeah.
that Americans were retarded and
Yeah.
could not understand the word philosopher. Like it hasn't been in the dictionary ever.
Yeah, so it's not Sorcerer's Stone in everywhere other than America. It's Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe in Australia, I'm not sure, but either way, so it opens with Hagrid and a really poorly cast Dumbledore and a really well cast
Yeah.
McGonagall.
Yeah.
They all plop down. They're like, we need to give this boy away to this family who are just a bunch of assholes.
Evil. Yeah.
You'd surely think that child services would take him away from that family. Really think that they're just bad people. But
Yeah, they're pretty abusive.
but alas, they are protecting him with their being related to him.
Woo.
I guess. So he has to stay there, and then you think he's a normal boy, but it turns out that he's basically the best wizard in the universe because he's been infused with the powers of a dark lord who's super powerful and all that. But
Mm.
I'm getting ahead of myself. So
Yeah.
he's a young boy, and he's just like, look at me, I'm normal, but now I'm magic and I can talk to snakes and shit, and then I can. And then he goes away to a magical school of Hogwarts where he makes some friends, but then maybe pisses off Hermione by just being a real dick, and then saves her life with Ron, and then they are
But
like,
then Hermione's also kind of a dick with the whole. It's not a Leviosa. It's Leviosa.
she's trying to help him. She's being nice. Ron's an asshole, but anyway,
She does it super rudely. Yes, Ron is a dick in it.
and
Ginger dick.
And anyway, so I'm sure we've all seen it, but blah blah blah. Yeah, so he's in a magical school, whoop-de-doo, and then he's learning magic. But then maybe there's a mystery on the school, and maybe Snape is a real evil guy, and then it turns out that no, it's a turban man, and
And there's a dog with 3 heads.
and there's and they all go through these traps that are very convenient, and they all have the particular skills to get past those traps.
Yeah.
Like it's very okay, but yeah. So yeah, it's Harry Potter. It's magical and all this stuff and yeah. So, do you want to go more in depth on it? I guess I don't know.
Well,
Okay? So what do you think about the film overall? Like good or bad or whatever opinions?
it's my least favorite of the series, but that's just because I hate the Dumbledore. Oh my god, he's just so old.
What you think the first one is is worse than the second one?
Well, it's the same person.
No, I mean like the movies. The first one.
Oh,
Yeah.
the first. Oh, I think so. Yeah.
I rewatched the second one and I don't hate it as much as everyone seems to. And the mystery I feel in the second one is better. I know we're skipping already, but because so essentially the mystery in the first one is like, hey, there's this guy and he seems to be lurking around the school trying to get the Philosopher's Stone, and with it you can become immortal and do all this crazy shit, and they think it's Snape and they're trying to like figure out all these all the stuff and their mystery solving.
Well, the Philosopher's Stone doesn't have anything to do with it until the end.
Yeah, basically, but
it's just, hey, this guy's an asshole, and it's like, wait,
yeah,
he is an asshole.
and they
He's
look
not
and they
evil.
see that people are stealing from the school or whatever's happening, and then you kind of learn that in the end, or they might think that Hagrid's a little bit evil sometimes because they think he did. I think they might think that he did the dog thing.
That's the second one.
Either way, or I think he might have been blamed for the dog thing or something. Either way, anyway, it turns out to be the sniveling professor who's bald and has a turban, and Voldemort's in the back of his head, and it's Voldemort all along, and
Professor Quirrell.
queer, yeah, but
No,
Quirrell.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, how does that work? Because I know he does Horcruxes, but how does he be in the back of someone's head?
I don't know, but originally Quirrell hated Voldemort, and he went off just to explore the world. And so basically, I feel like in that movie, that's not him anymore. Voldemort is completely controlling him.
I think he's acting of his own free will because he wants to get Voldemort out of his head.
And off of his head.
Yeah. So if we're gonna go in depth in this, I think the movie is alright. I mean, for a kids movie, it's very good, and also all the effects for the time, like amazing.
Yes.
Except for the room flying, it looks very CG, but it's the best you can do at the time, and it does look pretty alright, especially for the time.
The second one is better.
Yeah, but the movie is quite good and just sets up it does set up a very good world and wonder, and basically every minute detail. Like I think they trained the elves for 6 months just so they could train them how to carry letters.
Nice.
So they obviously put a lot of detail into the world and all that good stuff. So there is a lot of effort put in there, but I think that overall the child actors are quite bad. Like,
Yeah.
Harry is not great. Ron is, I mean, he is quite annoying, and I'll give him that. He's good at
It's
being.
probably the best.
Hermione's pretty good,
Well,
but then again, some of her lines feel a little bit too forced.
It's just he's a child actor to begin with. He was in loads of movies before Harry Potter, I think. And by loads I mean one.
I have a fun fact actually. Do you want to know how he auditioned for the part of Harry Potter?
How?
He sent in a rap. He sent in an audition tape where he rapped about how much he wanted to be in the movie. So, yo fam, I really wanna be in Harry Potter 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 3.
Wait, he was probably in that. He was probably read the books or something. He's like, oh shit, I get to bang watching Hermione by the end of it. Hey, Emma, watch it. Oh god, I want the part.
Not all those movies came out, so or books came out, But
I know, but most of them were out by the time the first movie came out.
Yeah, but
I think it was maybe the last 2 books.
So I hope you enjoy that. Also, another fun fact: Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. He's also not only not best friends. He's very good friends with Tom Felton, who's Draco. I think Draco's actually really good in this. He's very good at it.
Yes,
I think he's so evil and such an asshole, but I love it. It's really good. And they were very good friends in real life. And apparently, Daniel was in an interview or in a behind the scenes. Daniel was like, "Hey, do you want me to show them that photo of you?" And he's like, "What photo?" And he's like, "No."
Yes.
And then Daniel's like, "I'm going to do it." So they obviously play around and they're good friends.
Do you know what's also funny? I have
rivalry, And also, to this day, Draco said that he calls him up and he just goes, "Potter," and then hangs up the phone.
I wanted to say that, but how dare you?
Get wrecked.
You've ruined it. Yeah, he calls him up and he's like, "Potter," and then just hangs up. That's just great.
And he's also in The Flash now, if you want to know that, Draco.
I knew that.
Yeah. But as far as things go, the adult, I think everyone is pretty well cast. Apparently, the guy who they got for Hagrid, what's her face? Who's the person who wrote the books? J.K. Rowling. She was all like, "Yo, if we don't get that guy to be Hagrid, I'm leaving this shit." And you know who was up for who wanted the role of Hagrid?
Who?
Robin Williams.
Oh my god. I don't think that would have been good.
No, he doesn't seem like a giant man.
Yeah.
He seems too jovial and not like...
He doesn't
seem
have
a timid. He's very... Because Hagrid's very timid, yet gigantic. Whereas Robin Williams doesn't
he's
seem
a gentle giant, where Robin Williams is just...
He's very
like,
he's very live, and he's very just actiony and like jumping around.
He was very live, Thomas. Now he's very dead.
You're an asshole, but okay. Okay, but
you brought it up.
And so generally speaking, like most of the cast very good. Dumbledore very badly cast. I think he's too old.
Yeah, well, he did die. So that just shows how old he was.
He was 70, I think.
He was dead before this. Like that's why they changed it, is because the guy died.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god, I'm dead now.
And also, I don't even think the new guy is that great, because if you read the books, in the books, Dumbledore's very like he's all over the place and he's very bouncy and live, and he's just kind of live in the case of like, look at me. Oh my god, they should have gotten Robin Williams to play Dumbledore. But he's very like whoop-de-doo, and I don't know, he's very jokey and just more he's more of a human being rather than just Harry.
Although that could have been based off them wanting to make him a more serious character.
But like, but he's not very, he's just dull, I think. In the first 2 movies he's just kind of like, "Harry, where's my Vicodin?" And then in the rest of them
he's
like,
"I'm dying out."
And then in the second one he just seems more like a dick than anything. He's just kind of like, "Harry, that girl was pretty hot, but you're not gonna get to bang her because we're going on a mission. Fuck you."
Yes.
Whereas
he's like, "Harry, she was pretty goddamn hot.
Whereas
I would tap, but we're leaving now."
I'm pretty old though. I'm like 150. But yeah, I don't know.
Hey, wizards are long lived. He could probably still get it up there.
The Elder Wand.
Yes.
Okay, but
the Elder's Wand.
Yeah. Actually, I have a fun fact again about Daniel Radcliffe. he was like he was told he was in the bath when he got the call that was he was Harry Potter. His dad told him when he got out of the bath, and then he woke up the next day and he thought it was all a dream.
Nice.
And you know my lifelong wish was that at the end of Harry Potter he woke up under the cupboard and it was all a dream.
Oh, God.
My lifelong wish.
I would have hated the movie series then.
I know, but it would have been so weird. But yeah, he did think it was a dream that he got the role, but alas, you know, he was cast.
And now he's annoyed because he can't get out of his Harry Potter type
I
casting.
think he has. He's been in so many
He
movies.
definitely has. He's in a movie where he becomes the devil.
He's in a movie where he is a dead or maybe just a vegetable person. He's a vegetable.
Yeah.
He's Swiss Army Man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. He's a vegetable.
He's also in The Woman in
alive.
Black and the movie What If.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
What is the movie? What If?
I don't know, but he's in that movie. So he's been in a couple things.
Oh my God, I'm dying.
I think he gets very good by the fourth movie. I think the second he's still not great, and the third one he's but
the third one he's not bad.
But then again, throughout the series, he's more of just this like, you know, you can cast yourself onto him because he doesn't really have that much of a personality.
Yeah.
He's not like the smart guy. He's not the cool guy. He's not the funny. He's just kind of.
He's just the guy.
He's just the guy who's invincible for basically no reason. But they're
Because
like,
his mom was like, "Hey, I like you."
no,
son.
but they're like,
They're
power
just
of
like, "Ah, I'm
love,
dead."
power of love.
How did anyone die? Because everyone has parents in that. Was everyone not invincible? Because like you kill like you'd have to wait for the parents to naturally die, then to kill their children, and then to work down. So you have to work from the top of the tree down to get the person you're after. That just takes so long per person, you know.
But like, yeah, it is really stupid. I don't like. I wish there was a better explanation for why he was just invincible for no reason. But then again, maybe you shouldn't have a guy who's invincible for no reason. He's not a very. I don't think Harry's ever in a very endearing
Except
character.
for that point where he dies.
I don't think he's
But
a
then
very.
comes back again.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think he's a very endearing character ever because he is just kind of invincible whenever he wants to be, except for in the fourth one. And I do enjoy the way they kind of flip it, but like, it's still. Oh,
The fourth one is one of the best
it
movies.
still annoys me. The fifth one.
Because I love that
The
dragon.
fifth
scene.
one is the best.
What happens in the
The
fifth
more
one?
I
Isn't that
watch the
where
fifth one, the
Dumbledore
more I
dies?
think it's the best because of just everything in it. Like, oh, this the Dumbledore clapping Phoenix scene. That's the best. Anyway,
I really liked the end, the last movie though, where it's just all of their friends are dying. Fred or George dies. I'm not sure. I think it was Fred.
yeah, and the thing is with Harry Potter, I think in general, why I can understand why people don't like him very much is because he isn't. Yeah, he never tries he's not like he tries the hardest and he wins the fight because he's the best. Like in the end of this one, he literally just wins because he's Harry Potter and he burns a guy's skin off because he's magic and his mother loved him or
And then
something.
there's also
I don't know.
the whole Slughorn movie where the reason he is so good is because he found this book with basically cheat codes in it, and that's the whole year. They're like, "How are you so good at everything?" He's like, "I'm just great." No, you got this book. You're basically cheating.
You're cheating at life.
Exactly. And Slughorn's like, "You're pretty smart," and he probably thinking, "I'm not."
Yeah. And I mean,
I'm
as well with all the traps, there's as I say, they're very convenient. Like at the end of the movie with the traps, where they're like, again, in case you don't know, they have to solve a series of traps to get to the Philosopher's Stone or whatever.
like chess.
And the first one, what did you say?
Like chess.
Yeah. So the very
It's a hard
first,
thing to do.
so the very first one is like, look, is just Hermione's smart, so she knows the way to get out of it. The second one is Harry's great at flying, so he knows how to get out, or he gets the key or whatever it is, yeah, to get out.
And then it's Ron's a savant when it comes to chess,
which is never brought up again, never
Exactly.
needed
Never
forever.
plays it again.
It's just very convenient for that one
He's
wizard.
retired.
It's wizard
he nearly
chess
died
too.
that one time.
It's wizard chess where it moves and all that, and
Yeah.
I mean it is subtle enough in the when it's subtle enough, and then when they bring it back,
Yeah.
so it doesn't seem like it's out of nowhere, but it's still kind of like just a weird. And
It's odd. Like,
I just want to, and as well, it's 3 challenges, one for each one of them. So does that mean that?
except for Harry, who gets another one then when he has to be.
Well, yeah, because Hermione's like, hey, I'm not gonna move.
It's like I'm gonna go feed Ron.
You have to do it, Harry. I'm going to. There's literally no reason, but I might die if I go in there, and I'm a bit of a pussy.
No, she had to feed Ron that banana.
True. I was gonna
You
say, I
saying
thought
you
you were gonna
forgot
say
about the
feed him
banana?
breast milk, but like,
No,
anyway.
she's a bit young for that, Thomas.
I'm very sorry, but for my yeah, for what I said, but anyway, yeah, and then it just turns out, look at him, Harry's just the best because he's Harry, and yeah, so I don't love that
He
about
just
the
touches
series.
Quirrell's face. He's like, the power of love, it
The
burns.
power of love. I've never had love in my life. My parents are dicks or something.
I wear a turban. Then he falls,
And
he's
then
like,
Dumbledore
"Oh,
explains it by saying, Harry, your parents really loved you. I mean, most parents love their children, but you know what?
Yeah.
Your parents really loved you, and no one else loves their parents or loves their kid as much as your parents loved you, or some
Yeah.
shit. Anyway, regardless, yeah. So
Little what
that.
you know is while he's doing that, he's just thinking, I'm going to raise you up so you can die.
Mm. Well,
Your parents
yeah.
loved you.
I hate you.
You're going to live a long life. No, you're not.
No, you're not. You're gonna die. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
We're gonna sell some dead Harry Potter action figures.
Yes.
But okay, so merits of the first one, very good effects for the time, very good acting from everyone, but I just think Dumbledore's miscast and the children aren't great except for Draco is pretty good.
Yeah, he was very good.
Yeah,
And his hair slicked back, and he's a real asshole.
And I mean the whole I don't like the whole conceit of him being invincible, but hey, I mean it's a magic world, so I guess I'm alright with it.
Neville's pretty invincible too, though. Don't forget that.
And some of it's pretty convenient with the whole three things that they're all good at, except for like if Quirrell went through, would it just be like one thing that he has to be very good at?
Also, the question is, why is Quirrell like, you know what? I'm not going to say Avada Kedavra because that might not work again. I'll just let you burn my face off while I just reach for it and be like...
He doesn't try and stop Harry from murdering. I mean, what is... Anyway.
He's like, oh, it hurts when you touch my face. Touch my face more.
Oh, yeah. He's really into it.
Oh, it burns so good.
Okay. Do you want to jump into... Actually, before we do jump into the second movie, I've got a few more facts. Daniel Radcliffe apparently was supposed to wear contact lenses to make his eyes green like his mother's.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that, they gave him whiteheads around his eyes and he had a huge allergic reaction to it at the age of 11.
You have your mother's eyes. No, I don't. God damn it.
He doesn't either. In the movie, it turns out that his mother's brown eyes in that last minute. Anyway, with the Snape thing. Anyway.
Snape is like, you really do have your mother's eyes, do I? No.
No. But also...
I'm dead now.
The one thing I love... Wait, I was spoiled. But anyway, the one thing I love about... I really love about the Harry Potter... just the cast in general. So... I'm just going to speak in their names as characters. So...
Yeah.
They were all interviewed and asked who they fancied, like who they attracted, who they were attracted to in the as of the cast members. So Neville Neville is like, I'm really attracted to Hermione, and then Ron goes, I think Hermione's pretty hot, Emma Watson, and then Daniel Radcliffe goes, yeah, or Harry goes, yeah, I really like Hermione, and then the actor, and then she goes. They ask Emma Watson, who do you like? And she's like, I really like Draco, Tom Felton, he's really hot. And then they ask him who he likes, and he's like, I like Helena Bonham Carter or Bellatrix. And it
doesn't like Bellatrix though?
But like, it just proves my theory about life in that you're never going to find someone you like who likes you. So just settle. Just settle.
That is a sad thing to say.
Because like they all like her, she likes the one guy who she likes doesn't like her back like someone else, and I just love that. It makes me laugh.
Yes, because you like people in pain.
I
Don't
like
listen to
living...
everyone who watches the videos.
I
believe
so
people can find someone they like who likes them.
I find it so funny. Yeah. So.
So we're moving on to that next movie then, are we?
Harry Potter in the Chamber of Sacrets.
The Chamber of Sacrilege.
The Chamber of Sacrilege.
So this is I think this is a much darker one to the first one, starting off. So basically Harry's like, hey, I'm going back to wizard school. And they're like, and the Dursleys are like, don't though, because we don't want you to. And he's like, bye. And he leaves to go to wizard school. And he's there at wizard school and he's like, let's hope nothing wrong. Nothing goes, or he's there at heading to wizard school. He's like, hope nothing wrong happens when we're there. stops at the Weasleys pick him up. He's there. He's like, I like this house. It's very wizardy.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, let's go. And they're like, say the words properly. So he's like, yeah, okay, I won't do that. So he doesn't do that. Ends up somewhere else. Meets some dicks, like the Dracos. Or the Malfoys more.
No,
and so then...
The Dracos.
Yeah.
Draco and the Dracos.
Yeah, Draco and the Dracos. And so then he meets up with the Weasleys after encountering Hagrid, who's like, hey, don't die. And so he's brought back to the Weasleys. The Weasleys, they're like, hey, we thought you died. It's good you didn't. And they meet the Dracos and the Dracos again. And they're like, hey, we're Dracos and you're not.
We're all Dracos and you're not. You're not as rich as us Dracos.
Yeah. He's like, hey, we're Dracos and we're rich, but you're Weasleys who are poor. Yeah. And because of that, we will mock you. Yeah. And then the dad's like, that's enough of mocking you. Look at your stupid books. I'm gonna slip one in here. So
I'm gonna slip a book in. You're not gonna notice.
And so he does that.
Yeah.
And he's like, now off to school. There's nothing ominous about that book. And so the book was in Ginny's cauldron because they also bought cauldrons.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they headed off to school. And then Ginny gets real fucked up while she's there.
Just get some real drugs, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But so what's happening in school is people are starting to be petrified or frozen. And everyone's like, oh no, should we close down the school? No. We'll keep it open.
Let's keep it open for a while.
More people start getting petrified. They're like, we should really start thinking about closing school. They're like, we should think about that. But we're not closing school though, moving on. And so then Hermione gets petrified. And they're like, no. Harry's called in to
she was one of the main characters. We have to close the school down now.
Character. Yeah, it's like, we have to close school and send the children home. It's like, okay. Are we going to do that? No. And so then Harry's like, I have to save this person. And during this, they find writing on the walls that's done in blood or paint. We really don't know where the blood came from. That's just kind of glossed over.
I think Ginny just cuts herself.
Probably, yeah. She's like, oh yes. Then she just sticks 2 fingers into her bleeding wrists and starts drawing on the walls, triangles and whatnot.
I was gonna say period blood.
I know you were. That's why I said cuts on her wrist.
Yeah.
So I was like, I knew.
She is 10. I mean, hey, maturity exactly. And all that.
Well, no.
There will be blood.
There will be blood. Winter is coming.
And you think, and then it's kind of alluded to that there are these giant spiders and they're killing people or petrifying them. You know. And
by alluded to, Hagrid's like, so I'm being fired, and they're like, why? Because they think I did it. They're like. But there's absolutely no proof of that. Yeah, bye.
Well, there's absolutely no proof. And also, the only ties to this is that you once got kicked out of school for
about
harboring
50 years ago.
A giant spider.
Yeah, 50 years ago. And at this point, the spider wasn't exactly giant. It was probably... It was like maybe half
it was a pretty big spider. You'd be it was probably
big.
The size of a wolf spider in Australia.
Yeah.
You'd be pretty afraid, but like...
Well, maybe twice the size of a wolf spider. But
no, wolf spiders are huge, man. But anyway, continue.
So then what happens is Hagrid is being taken away from his hut. And Harry, Hermione and Ron are all there. And they're under... No, Harry and Ron, because Hermione's...
Also he whispers the amazing line, follow the spiders.
Yeah. He's like, follow the spiders. They will not eat you.
They will totally not eat you, I swear.
They won't try to eat you, okay? So then Harry and Ron are like... Ron is smart and he's like, let's not do that. But Harry's like, we're going to go do that.
Because I'm all brave. Ron really should just be in Hufflepuff. And Hermione should be in Ravenclaw.
Yes.
But they're both all in Slytherin just for the sake of... Because apparently you can't make friends with people in other... like, everyone in Slytherin is like,
well, it's also that they're all brave overall.
I guess, but like... When has Ron ever... He screams so much. There's a lot of him screaming in that movie.
He does, but
he also breaks his wand at one point and then tries to do a slug spell on Draco, and then he just starts vomiting slugs.
Yes, but I'm trying to keep it as loose as possible because the podcast is getting long.
We'll continue.
Okay, so just continuing on. So then they're like, so let's go into the forest. And they're heading in and Ron's like, this isn't a good idea. Harry's like, yeah, stop being a bitch, let's go.
Stop being a bitch, Ron.
So, yeah. So they get in and they're like, so... You're that little spider Hagrid kept like 50 years ago. He's like, yes, but I'm huge.
He's fucking
He's about 10 times the size of a human. His head is bigger than a human head.
He's like He's like 4 trains stacked on top of each other, like 2 next to each other, 2
basically,
on top.
Yeah. And he's like, Hagrid sent you. So we won't. You know what? You're a friend to us.
We won't eat you.
Because you're a friend to us, we'll eat you quickly. Yes. but don't worry. I'm going to have my children come down from the trees and just the hundreds of them. And while Ron tries to point them out and Harry's telling him to shut the fuck up, he's talking to their good old spider friend. Along comes a flying car to be like, hey, I've got you.
Which was in the beginning of the movie, so it does not just come out of nowhere, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, but just to get on, he's like, hey, I got you. And they're like, yes, the flying car saved us. And then kicks them out again and goes back into the jungle to live his flying car life.
Maybe to fight the spiders.
Possibly.
Yeah.
They don't go back to the sentient flying car either. He's just off in the jungle.
The
living
sentient
his life.
flying car is gone.
Yeah, he's basically Tarzan.
And also, the thing about that spider scene is that Ron literally says, we've learned nothing. We knew that Hagrid. We didn't think that Hagrid did it, and now we know that he didn't. But even if we were to go to the authorities and say, "Hey, Hagrid didn't do it," and they were like, "He did though," and then they were to go, "Yeah, but we talked to a giant spider and he said he didn't," they'd go, "He definitely did it. What are you talking about? Like fucking giant spiders."
There are no giant spiders. Like, if you go in there, just be careful. The spider might try and eat you, but he will tell the truth. He's a nice guy. Would you trust
a giant spider anyway?
Exactly, especially whenever anyone comes in to just ask him questions, like, I'm eating you now.
I think the audience kind of learn a little bit though that like we kind of assume it's not them that are paralyzing kids. I guess maybe I don't know, petrifying them. Whatever.
But just continuing on. Yeah. So there's the whole thing with Ginny and the book. But then she's like, "Oh shit! I've just realised I've been writing blood messages onto the wall. I don't like this book anymore." So she tries to throw that away in a moany bitch of a ghost called Moaning Myrtle. It's like, I want to fuck you, Harry. And he's like, I'm 11, and she's like, I'm 42.
She really gets a hard on for him as well in the fourth one.
Yeah. She's like, I'm 42.
I'm 42.
The actress who played her was 42.
This is definitely not consensual. Let's do, or even if it is, it's definitely.
It's like, I'm a ghost. I'll float through your body
rape.
whenever I want,
regardless.
Yeah, but so just going on. So then he finds the book. And he's like, I'm going to keep this ominous book. And he starts writing in it, and the ink starts vanishing, and he's like, that's normal. And then someone starts replying to him, and he's like, yes, I will keep going with this. And so he's sent into the past to see what happened with Hagrid at the beginning, like when he was young and had a beard. Still. And you see Tom Riddle there, and he's like, you know what? I'm definitely not a bad guy, but we should arrest Hagrid straight away right now.
No questions, just take him.
Exactly. And
I mean, they see the spider and they're like, yeah, he's totally evil. Go get Hagrid.
But I find it funny. Dumbledore's like, we shouldn't do that, but let's kick him out of school right now anyway.
And then bring him back 40 years later with no education.
Yeah, because we kicked him out.
Because he never finished high school anymore. So he's not even allowed to use a wand like he does in the first one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
he has. Well, that's an umbrella. It's different.
It's different.
But so then he comes back into the regular time, and Harry's like, he comes to the conclusion because he's been hearing whispers around the place, and he's like, okay, I know what's happening.
It's me hearing snakes talk.
Basically he goes to visit Hermione again, and he's like, you're still frozen. I'm gonna hold your hand. Oh shit, there's a note in her hand. Takes that out, he's like, oh shit, it's a snake in the wall. Oh damn.
It's talking about how spiders are afraid of these giant snakes. Yeah. And these spiders have been running all around the school trying to get away from the giant snake. And I can hear talking from the wall because I can talk to snakes. It's probably still a giant spider though.
And he's like, okay. So what they're saying is there's a giant snake a basilisk, so when you look at it you die. And then he's like, okay. But then they're like, but these people clearly didn't die because they all looked different ways. Hermione used a mirror because she's smart like that. Nearly Headless Nick is already dead. He can't be deader.
He's a ghost.
One of those students saw through Nearly Headless Nick, so he can't.
And another one through a camera and one through a puddle.
Yeah, exactly. So they're
actually
all
no,
like,
it was a cat. The cat saw through a puddle.
Yeah, it's like, see, none of these people actually died. Everyone will be fine by the end of the movie. Don't worry about it.
No consequences. Like, it's Harry Potter.
Yeah. So they go back to Moaning Myrtle and they're like, "Sir, did you die from a huge snake looking at you?" And she's like, "Well, you know what? Yes."
Now that you mention it, it might have been
now
a giant
that you mention
snake.
it, yeah, I might have been killed by a giant snake. Because what I remember is moaning my face off in the bathroom because someone was annoyed at me. And then someone knocked on the door, and she's like, "It sounded like a boy." And so I was like, "Yeah." So she opened it to tell him to go away. And then I saw this huge snake guy looking at me, and I thought, "Oh, that's a snake."
And she said it
And
was
then
some
she was
boy
like,
talking
"Oh."
some funny language. He maybe
Yeah.
was talking to the snake. Who knows?
Yeah. And she's like, "Well, now I'm dead. Great." And so
Mm.
she's off there being dead and all that. And he's like, "Did you know where the snake came from?" She's like, "Yeah, right there. That's probably the
in the
door."
girls' bathroom.
Yeah, and Harry's like, "We trust you."
I
And so
trust you.
they bring Lockhart along because Lockhart.
Oh yeah, the whole. By the way, we forgot about Gilderoy Lockhart. This really old man who's like 40 is this really celebrated and loved even by children. He's just a loved wizard because he's apparently very
Did you
attractive.
say old man?
I mean,
and
he's like
that
40.
That how could you? I'm pretty sure before you said 60 is pretty young. Just
Well,
like,
no,
this
I'm just
really
saying, like,
old
Do
40-year-old
you
man.
think
He's
all these
basically
kids would be
granddad.
like, yes, this 40-year-old man is pretty hot, but either way, they
Yeah.
all are infatuated with how hot this 40-year-old man is. And anyway,
how he's
he's a
useless.
real bumbling wizard. Like, at a point, he turns Harry's arm into rubber by trying to, like, he tries to fix it and he turns into rubber. He's just a real shit show of a wizard.
We
who's,
forgot all about Dobby as well. Dobby's just a complete dick throughout.
Well, he turns out to be the one who you know, stopped them from getting into Hogwarts, so they had to
Yeah.
use the flying car.
Basically, he's tried to kill Harry at least 5 times.
Yeah, but it was really to save him, you know, from Basilisk,
Ow.
I guess. I don't know.
Yes, but then the basilisk would have been let out, and then everyone would die.
And he's so unpleasant too. Like his visual appearance, he just looks so weird. I don't
Yes.
like
Did
him.
you notice? I noticed watching that movie. His eyes are green in that. In the later movies where he comes back, his eyes are blue, and it looks so much different.
I know. Well, though the CG is better in the newer ones. So.
Yeah. But just continuing on, so he's like, "Hey, so we're gonna hop down here," and Gilderoy's like, "Yeah, off you go," and they're like, "You know what? You go first." And he's like, I don't want to." So they push him in, and he's like, "Ah!"
Oh, also, Harry opens the Chamber of Secrets by talking into
Yes.
a sink in Parcel Tongue, which is snake language.
He's like, "Hi, I am Snake Person."
Stay,
And they're like, "Hey, we are Snake Sink.
We are
Come on down."
We are Snake Sink. Come down here.
Yeah.
We are Snake Think.
Yeah, Snake.
I'm a
No,
slippery little
that
snake.
line though, that Sayaha or whatever it was, that's not said until they go into the actual chamber.
Does he not say to
And-
that snake who he like is trying to kill that kid? I don't know.
Yeah, he tells the snake to stop, but they're all like, he
You're
just told
totally
that
egging him
snake
on.
to kill
And
him.
also, he's probably the only Gryffindor in the history of the universe who's ever been able to speak Parcel Tongue, which
Yeah,
is
but
snake
just-
language. Because Slytherin is all about snakes,
Yeah,
and Voldemort could speak to snakes.
slither on in there. No, but getting back to it. So then they're there. So they're there like, we have to go into this tunnel to save Ginny, who's been captured.
By herself.
Yes. So they jump on in and they're walking through the tunnels and they're like, "Would you look at that? It's a huge. Well, what could that be? It's leathery and it's very skin-like and it's the shape of a snake."
Hey
Oh, wait,
everyone, I'm a snake.
No, they're like, "Oh wait, it's snake skin. Hey, would you look at that? Who knew there'd be a snake down here?"
Wait, no, they're like, hey, there's a lot of snake skin down here. Then, like, there's a boulder crashing, so Harry and Ron get separated. So Ron and Gilderoy are, like, sitting there trying to move the rocks. And then Gilderoy's like, what I'm going to do is... Oh, no, actually, what happens is Gilderoy's like, hey, I'm going to wipe
he
your
causes
minds.
it with his head.
I'm going to wipe your minds by erasing your
It
memories.
says obliviate. It's like, it's the one spell I'm good at, and then he fucks it up and dies.
Which, how would you
basically.
become a teacher unless the only
Yeah.
test was, hey, can you obliterate someone's mind? But, like...
He's like, well, he could obliterate the people who are teaching.
Yeah, he also does it. He does it with Ron's wand, and we find out it's broken with the whole snake. You know, his spells go back in him or
Snails,
whatever,
yeah.
and so it goes back in Gilderoy. He loses his memory, gets slammed into a wall, and then causes and all the rocks crash down. So Ron and
Yeah.
Gilderoy are on one side, and Gilderoy's all like, "Look at, is this magic?"
Do you know in the books? Also, yes. Do you know in the books he spends the rest of his time in a mental hospital?
in a fucking mental hospital. So they just ruined his life. And I know
Well, he ruined his own life.
I mean, he did to himself, but that I feel bad for him, man.
He's called, the hospital is called Mongo's. Did you know that?
No.
It's Mongo's Hospital for Special People. Basically.
And you know,
it's where Neville's parents are kept as well.
he's in there like scrawling his name on paper, so he knows he's famous. He doesn't know why or who he is or what anything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad. Anyway,
But
Yeah, go ahead.
continuing on.
Yeah.
So then Harry's like, it's okay, I'll go on again.
Without you.
I'll go on alone without you. And as he's walking, he had a flashback to the last movie. He was like, it's okay, Harry, you go on without me. And so he has to go face the bad guy on his own again. And he gets there and he's like, oh my god, Ginny's on the ground lying down there. Is she okay? He goes over to check.
It's like, oh my god, it's the guy from the diary. What are you doing here? What could
like,
you
hey,
possibly
nice
be
guy.
doing here next to this comatose
Yes.
body? Did
And
you cause this?
I find it funny, he's like, so she's going to die soon. And he's like, we have to help her. And he's like, no, I don't want to help her. If she dies, I live. And he's like, oh my god, it's like you're some kind of evil person.
It's almost as if you're evil.
Yeah. He's like, well, my name is Tom Marvolo Riddle. I'm surprised I actually remember that. I didn't watch this movie in advance.
And when I spell it out in the air and then crisscross all the letters, it spells out,
Voldemort.
I am Voldemort.
We'll all get wrecked.
And
so he's like, Harry sits there for a second. He's like, no, wait.
Are you
wait,
telling
hold on.
me you're Voldemort?
You're Voldemort? I thought you'd be older. He's like, I'm teen Voldemort. All the angst.
Also, but before you go on, did you know that in the French version, in order to spell out Je suis Voldemort, his middle name is Elvis.
No way.
Tom Elvis. Or no, I don't know, Tom Elvis Riddle, I think.
That's great.
So, yeah, Je suis Voldemort, Tom Elvis Riddle. It's pretty good.
That's great.
Just not as good as Marvel, but yeah.
Yeah. Just going on. So then he was like, so wait, you're telling me you're Voldemort? And he's like, yes, that's what I said. Now hold on a second.
Are you
what
sure?
you're saying is you are Voldemort. He's like, yes. So then I can kill you right now. He's like,
Oh no,
don't
my ghost.
bother trying.
Oh my ghost.
Look, here's my snake. Oh,
Oh my ghost, here's my snake.
I was like, oh shit.
It's like I didn't expect there to be a giant snake to be down here with all that snake skin out front.
and the whole snake talk and how we realised there was a snake. So he's like, snake, I have to run. And he's running away. And then
a fucking phoenix just comes in.
I've got you, bro. Scrapes out the thing's eyes.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, thank God. Now I just have to run because it can smell me because it smells amazing.
And also,
So
the phoenix doesn't come out of nowhere because we do kind of see Dumbledore sees like, hey, look, I've got a phoenix. He's pretty old. And then it just lights on fire and burns. And then he's like, oh my God,
it wasn't me.
Your phoenix turned on fire, man. And then
I would have loved for Dumbledore to come in and say, what the fuck just happened?
He just pranked him. But
he's
yeah.
like, oh my God, did you kill my bird?
Yeah.
He's like, no, he's a law, JK. He was going to die.
He's
anyway.
come back to life because he's a phoenix. Anyway, yeah. Oh.
So that happens, and then the basilisk is blinded, and so Harry's like, "Hey, thanks, bird," and the bird's like, "I'm not done yet."
Here's a hat.
Here's a hat. Pull a sword out of it. It's Superman.
It's a Gryffindor sword because you can pull it out because you're Harry Potter because you're the most Gryffindor of all the Gryffindors.
I would have loved for that hat to have fallen on the snake's head, and it just goes Slytherin. Just shouts out what house he's in.
You're in Hufflepuff. It's very angry
the
about
snake's
it.
like, and he's like, okay, you're in Slytherin.
Okay, fine.
No, but going on. So then he's like, yes, I have this sword, which is the only thing that can kill.
Also, I actually kind
basilisk.
of really wish that the you know the way that like that hat comes about a lot, right? Like as in like just having the sword in it. I really wish there was more sassy like sorting hat. Like during the movies, like let's go kill that Dumbledore or Voldemort.
Let's go kill that Dumbledore. I've become evil.
Evil. Yeah, anyway.
Evil hat. Yeah. So then Harry's like, okay, I have to kill this snake. So what I'll do is I'll climb up this huge statue so I can stab the snake from up there. It makes a difference. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. It's not like the snake would come down to my level and then I could stab him in the head. No, I have to go up high.
Yeah.
And then
he's like, I have to dodge the snake for the next hour or two and be like, oh, look how cool I am. I can roll. Almost lose the sword, but then grab it. And then stab the snake through the head.
But then gets a snake tooth, a basilisk tooth caught in his arm, which is poisonous or something.
But he's not even worried about that because he's the main character. So he goes down to Tom Riddle's diary, which is what it turned out. That book that we talked about at the start was Tom Riddle's diary that was put into it.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm gonna stab the shit out of this book. And Voldemort's like, you won't do that. And he's like, watch me. And he's like, no, wait, don't do that.
And he just starts melting.
And he's like, no, you're killing me. And so then he's like, oh, I'm dead now. And then Ginny's like, oh, I'm alive now. She's like, oh, Harry, your arm. He's like, yeah, I'm going to die.
And then the Phoenix comes in again.
Yeah, he's like, don't even, but just go back to Harry. He's like, I'm going to die. Don't even worry about it. I'm pretty cool, though. we're gonna get together when I don't
Ginny's
die.
like, don't die, I have a huge heart on for you. And he's like,
Yeah.
yo, don't worry, I'm dead.
And he's like, don't even worry about it. Then the bird comes in and he's like, you know what? I've got you again.
And he just
I'll
cries on his
I'll
arm.
start crying
on his
onto your arm. And he
the
just starts
tears
wailing.
Yeah, the tears.
He's like, oh, I don't let Harry die. He's the main character. And that fixes everything.
Mm.
And so then the Phoenix also manages to pick up all 5 of the people down there and fly out of a cave.
Fly out of the cave with them. And then Gilderoy Lockhart screams, this is almost like magic.
Yeah. It's like, wow, it's so magical. Whoa, I'm
I'm never going to recover from this encounter.
I will never recover from I am basically brain dead. And so that's kind of the end of the movie. Then Dumbledore, who is still the first Dumbledore, so the bad one, he's like, Harry, you almost died again, but then you didn't. And you killed this book. We're not going to tell you about this book for another 4 movies, but this was an important book to kill, okay?
That's pretty good, Harry.
We'll get back to it, and I'll try kill a ring, and that won't work, and fuck my hand up. But until then, don't even worry about it. I can see the future and past.
Because I'm omniscient Dumbledore.
Yeah,
also, I've got a wand that makes me the best at magic.
Also, it's in the shape of anal beads.
It's in the shape of anal beads. And also, I don't only have the best wand. I'm also basically the best wizard you've ever seen in the history of the universe, because I can literally turn glass into dust. Yeah.
And also, he dated Wizard Hitler.
Yeah, gay wizard Hitler.
Yeah, got out Dwayne the Rock Wizard. Dwayne the Wizard Johnson. And so that's the end of the second movie. There you go.
And all I'll say is,
it happens exactly like we explained it.
even more coincidences.
Fox talks a lot.
Like you wouldn't believe that there was just so many coincidences in the first movie, but in the second one, it's like, look at this. The car just comes out of nowhere. Or, like, they have the car to get to Hogwarts. The car comes out of nowhere to save them, and like, they also just happen to find a piece of paper in Hermione's hand. Like, what if he held the other hand? But anyway, and then
he's like, I found nothing. We've all died.
Yeah. And then they solve that whole thing, and Hermione is still the smartest and the only reason they solved the case anyway. And I think the mystery is better because for kids they'd probably get thrown off with the whole spider thing.
I do find that funny though at the end. She was like, "You could have solved it without me," and everyone was just, "No, they couldn't. You literally solved everything for them."
They just kind of like all Ron did was have a shit wand that basically made it so Gilderoy didn't wipe their minds, and all Harry did was defeat a giant snake. He did actually a pretty good job, but still.
Yeah, pretty good job, Rory.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And Hagrid comes back and he's like, "Look, I'm a giant, and also not in jail anymore for something I didn't do. Also, I'm going to sue them now. I'm suing the school."
Oh, I'm probably not going to sue them though because I really like Dumbledore.
Yeah,
and then I don't know, just more the car comes out of nowhere to save them. The Phoenix comes out of nowhere to also again give him the sword and blind the basilisk and heal him because he's gonna die.
Thought you better say blind the bastard.
Blind the basilisk. Like the Phoenix did most of the heavy lifting, I feel.
Yeah, he did lift like 5 people.
He might as well have just flown in with the sword and stabbed him in the neck. Like, I don't know.
He's like, it's okay, I'll finish this, Harry. You're not the main person anymore. Oh, yeah. I'm Birdman.
But yeah, so yeah, all in all.
And also Dobby was in it again at the end, and he's like, my masters are the Malfoys, and you know what, I hate them. And Harry's like, you know what?
Oh, and that amazing scene where Lucius Malfoy, who's Draco's father, is literally about to cast the Avada Kedavra, which is the murder curse, on Harry. And in the book, apparently that doesn't happen, but the guy who played him didn't know any of the spells, so he was literally just about to kill Harry in that movie.
And Dobby was like, "Bitch, no, click my fingers." And then he was like, "Oh God, the click!" And he's sent across the room. He's like, "Tell him."
I think these movies, especially the third one, no, just especially this one, actually, the second one, they all just bring in the fact that, hey, in this universe, doesn't matter. You can be, you've no worry that anyone is gonna die because you've got phoenixes with healing powers and fucking time travel. You've got an omniscient Dumbledore, and he knows everything. He knows what's gonna happen, and these movies are just weird. Like, I'm not like they're not bad. Well, these first two are.
Well, yeah,
and the
those
third
first
one
two are
isn't,
bad.
and the third one isn't as great as everyone says it is. But still,
I think it's great. I love what's his name as Sirius,
but
and
like,
he's even better in the books.
yeah. Well, he apparently he isn't. He isn't just a weird asshole in the in the book. Like in the movies, he's just
Of
kind of
course.
silent. Like yeah, again, he's just a person that everyone can be like, oh, I'm
He's
Harry.
like, Harry, I'm a dog, and also your godfather. I'll adopt you. And Harry's like, good, because
Well,
my family
yeah.
are abusive. And he's like, oh god, I'm dead.
But like, yeah. Just,
Do they have a funeral for him?
I don't think so.
Or is it like, no, it's all good. He was a dog. They don't get funerals.
Although, wouldn't you? Well, no, he disappears. His body is gone. So
Yes, but they still like have an
they
open
could have a
funeral.
spiritual funeral.
Like,
Do wizards
people
have
who-
funerals?
Well, people whose bodies go missing and are never found, when they have a funeral, it's just an empty box,
Yeah,
and it's depressing and sad.
it's like a ring box.
But we should probably get on to the recommendations for this week. 'Cause
Well,
it is-
before we do, I do want to say one thing. The first two movies, they're not great, but
They're
they
not
set
bad
up
either.
much better movies, and the effects also for the time are fantastic. And again, pretty good actors
Yeah.
except for the kids. I love Draco. He's such an asshole.
Yeah, except for the kids who are the main focus of the
Characters.
first every movie, because they're kids until they become adults teenagers that are angsty, and then adults that are
And
kind of
Harry's
angsty.
so angsty. That's
he's always
movie.
angsty.
Yeah. But anyway, God, I just have to defeat. I'm just the chosen one. God.
God,
but-
Joe, let's go do it. God, what's her name? Ginny, let's go do it. Joe's not into it anymore.
Yeah, I'm
I don't do it for her anymore. God.
Anyway, but moving on. Before we move on to recommendations, we do have to move into letters. Play the theme. Letters, letters, letters. Yeah, yeah.
That's a pretty good theme.
What
maybe.
a theme.
What
Anyway,
a
so
theme. I haven't heard the theme either. I haven't watched the last podcast yet,
listen.
or any of them.
Okay.
I keep forgetting.
But anyway,
What are the letters? Oh, so what is this?
it's one from Green Charter. So she says, as
You mean
long as
comments?
as long as Moss is human, his age doesn't matter. You're not underage, so it's fine that we're together. Referencing that time that we said that we fell in love after the slave trade business. But
Yeah.
anyway,
We're not in love. Don't worry about it.
so she asks what matters most in like a story. So I guess if we're so anyway, a
Did
story.
she say that? I don't remember that.
What matters most in a story? Visuals, stylizing,
Oh.
characters, plot, etc. And is there anything you hate that's extremely popular? Now, the first question.
That question, I want to answer that one first, but just
Okay.
for a sec.
What do you hate?
There's nothing I hate that is popular. There are things I don't watch that are popular, like haven't watched Love Hate, don't want to, or Breaking Bad, and I don't want to. Now they're very popular. I'm just not interested.
They're both very good.
And but it's not. I'm not going to say I hate them because I haven't seen them. I'm going to say I'm not going to watch them ever in my whole life.
Yeah.
And there you go. There's nothing like. I'm not a hipster, is what I'm saying.
I'm gonna say that I've watched the first couple episodes of Game of Thrones and I dislike it, and I also watched the first couple episodes of Westworld, like 5. And I also didn't like it, so I guess I
You hate
dislike those
everything.
things. And I
You
don't
hate shows with good stories.
and they probably are good, and I think they
They
are
are.
good shows. I just don't like them, and I don't think I hate them. Oh,
Yeah.
I do hate the Twilight stuff. That is very popular, and I dislike that a lot.
Surprisingly,
Yeah.
I recently rewatched those movies and I enjoyed them more than I thought I would.
I just
Which I'm
like them.
ashamed to say, but I also don't care.
I know it's a
what?
stereotype to hate Twilight,
Yeah.
but like I just don't like it.
Like this, I don't think the love story is that bad. People are like, "Oh, this is bad." No, it's not that bad. It's
People
a bit over dramatic, but
I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything that's really popular because people seem to really like. I don't know. People like Doctor Strange a lot, that movie, and I don't think it's
like it.
good.
you don't think it's good at all.
I mean, it's fine. I'll say it's
Okay.
fine, but I don't think it's great at all. But yeah, and there's nothing I truly hate. I guess that's extremely popular. Maybe
Yeah.
like some comics that are bad, but other than that, I can't really think of any. I don't know. But as for what matters most in story, I guess, are we talking like movies or TV shows or comics? What do you think is best for that kind of like for visualizing stories and
for
characters? plots?
visual,
Well, she said like what matters most in the story: visuals, stylizing characters, plot, or what? Like what matters most for us? Should we go with movies or just say overall?
I think we should go with cartoons and TV shows more.
Mm.
'Cause they're just longer going on.
Because obviously, like the
can
only
develop
thing,
more.
because comics are basically only the visuals make it what it is.
Yeah.
I guess if I'm to go first, which I will.
Yeah.
um, I really love visuals in a story, and I know that people probably don't care too much about that kind of stuff. But for me, like good visuals, like the reason I enjoyed the Power Rangers movie as much as I did is because visually it's very exciting.
You said you hated it.
The
The reason I enjoyed this movie, I hate it so much, is
Yeah,
because it looked.
but the
And
reason
even then, the CG, that wall climbing scene,
oh yeah, but
it was
anyway,
awful.
like I think for me when it I don't know because with it very much depends on the thing on what it is, because obviously like with cartoons I love animation and I love very fluid, like Star vs. The Force of Evil has some of the best animation I've ever seen, because it has great like animation, and obviously Disney
I love that
do
show.
that, and that's why it's such, and it is great animation. But even so, like Adventure Time doesn't have great animation, I don't think, but I still love the stories
I don't think it's
for a
that
lot of
bad.
it. Well, yeah, but it's not as good as Star, and like you know, and when it comes to stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy, like the shots, like when Groot is taking the core out of the thing and while they're talking, and like it's just a great way to show exposition, and then just or just for them to talk, and then a thing happens in the background. Like that is
I like that.
That is something that you can kind of know, and it creates not only a funny moment, which is something that's I don't know, it's a very good way to frame it up, and also like the intro to the movie with like Groot baby Groot running around, and just
good.
People getting bashed up. It really is just I don't know. I love visuals. Visuals to me are everything, and which is why I love Watchmen so much, and also just I don't know. Visuals are great, but yeah, characters and plot are obviously important. Otherwise, the movies aren't good, and yeah, a good character obviously makes the story. But then again, I just love visuals. So yeah.
Well, now I'm going to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to use again Star and Gravity Falls for my thing. So I think story is one of the most important things, but when it comes down to it, I don't search up a show because it's like, oh, I've heard this story is great. Something that catches my eye is the animation. It's what got me into Star. But I wouldn't continue watching a show that's animated amazingly if the story was shit. But then I probably wouldn't watch a show with an amazing story if the animation was absolutely awful. For the most part anyway. And like Star has a good story, Gravity Falls has an amazing story. But for things like Steven Universe, the animation is pretty good. I feel the story is way too slow. I think it's way too slow, and it's kind of boring for most of a season, which is like then if you compare that to Star, like not every episode is a story episode, but
none of them
all
except for
episodes are
none
good.
of them really, except for the last couple. I mean, like the characters that are introduced are like story elements later on, but like generally speaking, for the first season, it's not very story oriented until the end, and then
And with my favorite episode from Star vs. Force of Evil isn't a story episode. It's the one where he goes off with Hecapoo and is gone for 16 years in that universe, or 8 minutes.
and I like how that has consequences, because at the end he's like, I can't remember any of my passwords to my stuff.
Yes,
and
and he just looks so depressed then, and then you can see from the start of that episode to the end, he went from he didn't want to walk his dogs because it was basically a flood, and he didn't want because he thought it was too dangerous, to he literally just puts on a hood and he's like, let's go out for a walk, because he's so used to treacherous environment. He spent more life in that universe than he did in his own life. And then he comes back and he's like, what do I do now? And I really like that episode. That was my favourite episode.
Yeah, and with stuff like BoJack Horseman, the animation is like the animation for that kind of thing is fine, and it services what it is, so it's basically like staying where it is, just fine. But the story with that kind of thing, like each episode is just intense, and the characters. For me in that show, I like all the characters. You're supposed to hate them, but the way the plot progresses and how they all just learn, and how they all just kind of like learn lessons, and they're just depressed, and they just like never get better. And for me, but like they still learn their lessons, and other people who aren't main characters get better from their lesson, like stuff like that. So, like obviously, like the plot's important. And for example, with Gravity Falls, I love the plot, but the characters to me aren't very interesting. Like Mabel is good, but she slowly just keeps getting worse. Where she just like is like, hey Dipper, you should give up all your stuff for me.
Yeah, she does make Dipper do a lot. Now she does every now and again do something to help Dipper out, but Dipper is always willing to do something to help her out. He sacrificed getting to basically go on a date with Wendy just so she can have a pig.
Yes, and like just a lot of stuff, like, and for her, like, not tell everyone that her boyfriend's a mermaid or whatever, so that he can get free or whatever, and it's like, characters are, because if the plot isn't good but the characters are endearing, you'll watch a show. But if the plot is good and the characters aren't endearing, you might just be like, well, I enjoy the story, but the characters are annoying. And I mean, you can have that in a show, Walking
Yeah.
Dead, but like it's just, and it just depends on what you like. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, for me,
Yeah.
most likely visuals, but then again, obviously, I do like an actual good story and characters and stuff.
So, do you want to move on to recommendations?
Sure. What do you got?
I've only got one, and it's a show I recently watched. It's called 13 Reasons Why. And it's a different show to, I was telling you a little bit about earlier. It's a different show to the shows I usually watch. It's a show about teen suicide and depression, and it's basically this girl goes through so much shit for like a year or two or something in this new place she moved to, that she decides she's killing herself. And so she goes and kills herself, but
Yes.
not before she records 13 tapes to say why she did what she did. So 13 tapes, 13 reasons. Each tape is dedicated to a different person that caused her life to be so messed up.
Oof.
Yeah, it's a very heavy show. And so I was watching it, and it starts off with, so she's like, so if you're listening to these tapes, that means she's like, I'm going to tell you the story of why I killed myself, and if you're listening to these tapes, you're one of the reasons why. And this is someone who was a friend to her, who loved her in this, and he's given the tapes, and so you're trying to figure out why is he one of the reasons for her to have killed herself, and you go along and you find out, and it's absolutely heartbreaking what happens. And by the end of the series, it's like like in the last episode, you see her kill herself, and it is hard to watch, because I'm not going to tell you how. I will actually. She slits her wrists, and so you see her do that, and it's so messed up watching, because at this point she's just destroyed in the show, and she no longer wants to live. She cuts her wrist, but what she does is she isn't hysterical over it, even though she knows it's the end. She just kind of accepts it, lies back and closes her eyes, and then she like minutes later, so after she's dead, her mom comes into the bathroom to find her dead, and her reaction is really good and all that. But the show really does, it takes serious things like rape and bullying and teen suicide and stuff like that, and it really just shines a light on it. And they even have their own website dedicated for the show for anyone who needs help.
Yeah.
It's like 13 Reasons Why, and it's such a impactful show. I've been listening to this one song from it for the whole day, 'cause it's just I've just been so depressed after it. It's so, well, not depressed, but like it's really sad, and I really recommend watching it. It's so good.
Yeah. How long are the episodes, and how many episodes are there in the first season?
There's 13 episodes, 13 Reasons Why, and
Okay,
they're all
yeah.
40 minutes long.
Yeah.
Although there is 13 Reasons Why. By the end, there is a 14th tape added.
She comes back, she's like, wait a second.
She's like, hold on, no, it's something else. But it handles, I think it handles the rape section of it really well, and it goes in to show that it's not always some weird, creepy person. It can be someone who's like super
cool
friendly
guy.
and everyone gets along with. Yes,
the cool
basically, yeah. And so I would highly recommend watching it, and it's great. It's very sad. Every character is very well rounded out. It's not this character's super bad and that's it. It's this character has done a bad thing, but is usually friendly, or this character did this because she doesn't want these people to find out about that. It's really good. It also has the whole LGBT thing in there, where it's like this person is insecure about how she feels and all that, and so she throws it off on other people, and because of that, it's just a really good show. You guys should watch it. The end. Now it's your turn.
I've also just got one. So I've been watching Stranger Things lately, and it's a horror thriller. I'm sure everyone who's listening to this probably watched it, but it's a horror thriller
I haven't watched it.
TV show. Well, everyone who matters, anyway. But
Wow.
So yeah, it's the heartthrob
See, this is
TV
the type
show.
of thing you learn to deal with on 13 Reasons Why, okay?
And basically, the first episode, well, at the very beginning of the first episode, what happens is that this kid is all like, or all these kids are in one of the kids' houses, and they're like, "Yo, what's up, fam? How are you doing? We're playing a weird Dungeons and Dragons ripoff." And it's kind of set in the 90s, 80s kind of, more so in the 90s, I'd assume. And they all go home, and one of them kind of just cycles home, and is just taking a shortcut, and you see signs that are like, "Oh, you're not supposed to go that way." And then he sees a figure in the distance, and the figure gets closer and closer, and then he skids off his bike, crashes into a tree, and he sees the figure's right behind him, so he runs all the way home, and then he sees that the thing is right outside his door trying to get in, and he goes out to the shed, gets the gun that his mother has there, and just fills it with bullets, cocks it, and everything is ready, and you see him there, and you see the lights just kind of flicker on and off and on and off, and then it's off, and then he's gone. And yeah, so he's so he's missing, and so his mother and his brother are looking for him, and everyone in the town is like, "Well, shit, this has never happened. Like, the craziest thing that's happened is that a mule from another city came into our city, and this kid is missing and murder possibly, and like." All of his friends are also trying to solve the mystery, but they can't because there's new curfews now imposed because, a kid has gone missing. And then at the same time, this young kid who's she's got a shaven head and tattoos, and a tattoo on her wrist like a serial number, kind of like what you'd have if you were in, a concentration camp or something like that. It's a shorter number. It's like D11. Anyway, regardless, or L, or, yeah. Anyway, and then you see that. This guy takes her in and is like, "Oh yeah, we'll find you a nice place to stay. Did your parents abuse you? Probably, because she won't talk." And then he calls up a child helpline and blah blah blah. And then the person comes and shoots him in the head. And so,
oh my god!
And so she's running, and you figure out that she's being chased by government agents, and you see that she has telekinetic ability. So it's basically about, and then the storylines converge, and you see that there's this kid who's got these abilities, and she knows about the monster. So there's a monster trying to kill people. He has a weird thing with electricity where he can turn it on and off and go through walls, and it's just creepy as shit. And there's a great scene where like this woman writes out letters on a wall, and the lights will blink, spelling out words like, "I'm here," or and then the girl goes, "What do you want me to do? RUN." Run. It's great. It's just some great stuff, and then you see, so it's a very good sci-fi horror thing, and you just see, the kids try and help the girl avoid the government and death, and then you see like this monster tear people's lives apart, and how the disappearance of this child has affected everyone, and everyone's just insane about it, and the mother's
I might
mental.
watch that.
And she thinks that like her child is a ghost or something now because of the fact that she thinks it's trying to communicate through lights, when it's obviously the monster, and it's just really good. Yeah.
And also, just going back to 13 Reasons Why real quick, it also goes really well into bullying and stuff like that, and kids being bullied and how they feel about it, and I really liked that part of it.
Oh, there's some bullying in Stranger Things too, but my thing is, hey, there's 3 of you, just gang them up, But anyway.
Gang him up, yeah. But this is like if this one thing happens and it messes you up with your reputation, like everyone just pulls away from you, and you feel so alone, and then she feels like she's no one to talk to, and it just spirals downwards from there. And you go watch 13 Reasons Why. It's on Netflix if anyone was wondering.
Watch Stranger Things. It's pretty spooky and nice.
That's on Netflix too, isn't it?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen it on there a few times.
It's a pretty.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah. But anyway, I think that's the end of the podcast. Depression and
this
and
is a
murder.
long one.
Depression and murder is anything. Although we were reviewing like Harry Potter movies, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, kind of reviewing, more telling the story.
Yeah.
But that was our second review, so we'll get better. Probably not.
And so hope you guys enjoyed. Check out any of the things we mentioned as in recommendations. And also, it's a big week for me because I did a face reveal, and I'm also probably going to be doing Twitch and stuff, and that'll be cool. And you'll be joining me in that Twitch, most likely.
Yeah, sometimes. I won't be joining you in a face reveal, though.
Yeah. Oh God, something fell. Anyway. I guess.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
Oh, we're not done? Okay, bye. Again.